Middle game of the RoughRiders series against the Midland Rockhounds. It's Sunday, so we're joined by the manager of the Riders, Steve Buechele. Steve, last night's ball game, Arlet Mavares struggled early on, especially in that second inning. He's been beat up by Midland at times this season. Was it a case of the team just having his number, or Arlet not being as sharp as he's been lately?
No, I think it might have been a combination of both. I think late in the season, sometimes pitchers lose a little bit on their stuff, and sometimes teams do have your number for whatever reason. I think it may have been a combination of both. He just struggled to throw strikes, throw anything other than his fastball for strikes, and even when he threw that, it wasn't located. And it's just one of those tough outings. But like you said, Midland seems to have his number, and when you're not at your best, that can be problemsome.
How difficult is it to get the energy of a team up when you fall behind by that much that early and still feel like you still have a chance in the game?
It's tough. I think it sucks the life out of a team, but we've been down before this year, and we've come back, and I thought we swung the bats, hit some balls pretty hard early, but when you're down 8 after 2, definitely the life gets sucked out of you, and you hope for maybe 2 or 3 or 4 in one inning, and it's tough to get a big inning. When the pitching's good on the other side, and it's just tough to come back from that.
The bullpen threw 7 2/3 innings last night. What is the status of the pitching staff here? He played an extra inning game a couple days ago. Tyler Tufts was supposed to start tomorrow. He's been scratched. Are you guys hurting a little bit?
I think we're okay. And I say that with tongue-in-cheek, with a smile as we're looking at each other right now. I think we're okay. I think we need Luke to just get his work done today and cover his innings, and we should be okay. We threw Chang's name around last night, for late in the game. But I think, with Luke, if he can cover his innings, we should be okay.
You mentioned it initially at the start of the interview, but how much is fatigue a factor in the way the team has been playing here as of late, do you think?
I think fatigue plays a factor in how everyone plays this game. In the heat of August, going late into the season, we don't have a shot at the playoffs, so I think that kind of, brings about a letdown amongst the guys. But I think these guys understand that they're going to be remembered for how they finish, not for how they started the season. I think there's still incentive to go out and play the game the right way. But I think, as we talked about maybe last week or the week before, where it really comes into play is your mental toughness. Your fatigued mind creates fatigued legs. The defense, you see more errors on the defensive side. You see swings slowing down. And a lot of it has to do with the guys' legs at this time of year.
We're here with RoughRiders manager Steve Buechele. You mentioned the team does not have a chance at the playoffs, officially eliminated earlier in the week against San Antonio. After that happened and it became official, did you talk at all about changing goals here with the team finishing strong and what there still is to play for here with a couple of weeks left in the season at that point?
Yeah, you know what? We go about it the same way, whether we had clinched a playoff spot or don't clinch a playoff spot. We'll take the game that we have today and go out and play the best you can play. Like I said, I think these guys know we have rovers in, scouts have been in. They've done a good job of going out there and doing the best that they can. But this time of year, even though it's hard, there's still reason to play. We're still playing games and they count. So I expect the guys to go out and give a good effort every night right up till the end.
Before walking in, I saw Pudge Rodriguez sitting outside in the clubhouse. Greg Maddux was in San Antonio watching the pitching staff over this past week. How big is that to have two legends like that a part of this organization, in addition to all the fantastic rovers we have? But these are two of the biggest names ever in baseball, and they're working hand in hand with these players.
Yeah, the kids don't know how lucky they are, and I wish they would use them as a resource more, just to talk to them and just sit down and pick their brains a little bit. I know a lot of the pitchers I saw talking with Greg in San Antonio, and Pudge will do the same when he's here. A lot of times players feel like they can't approach him, but you can't get two more approachable guys than Greg Maddux and Pudge. They're wonderful to talk to. They're very friendly, very unassuming. You would never know they were two of the greatest to ever play the game, and it's just great to have them around.
What are some of the benefits that those two guys can give players on this team? Obviously, they had a lot of talent, but they worked really hard to get to the level that they reached in Major League Baseball. And it can be always tough to have somebody who's that great teaching players who are only trying to just get to the big leagues. Is it a little bit difficult to understand what question to ask in the first place?
Yeah, maybe. And I think maybe on the side of Greg and Pudge, when you have guys like that, they've got to go back to the time when they were in the minor leagues too. And I think sometimes, which they're both very good at doing, and sometimes they could explain something that they did while they were in the big leagues that could help, but it's something that these kids aren't able to do yet at this point in their career. So, but they both get it, and they both understand. They've been there, and they understand what it's like to struggle and be part in the minor leagues. And like I said, they're really good information packets, if you want to say that, for these guys to go to.
One player who did not look intimidated by having Maddox over in the dugout was Nick Martinez the other night. He was fantastic against San Antonio. You know, Nick has just come into Double-A and has looked like there's been no adjustment at all. It's interesting because he was a position player for the most part in college. He is relatively new to pitching, but I've been impressed, and I'm curious your take on it, with his feel for pitching, despite being a guy that doesn't have an extraordinarily long track record behind him.
Yeah, for the few starts that we've had him here, it's been really good. And I think what he does is he throws strikes, he keeps it down, and he's able to throw his break and stuff over, for strikes. And I think when you see other guys struggle a little bit, it's because their secondary pitches are missing. Nick's been very good because he's been able to do that. He's been able to throw a curveball or a changeup when he's behind in the count, and I think for the most part he's kept the ball down, which really helps him.
Today, Luke Jackson goes for you guys. He threw 5 no-hit innings before he was taken out of the ballgame. I asked you a little bit the other day, at what point do you think about the fact the guy's got a no-hitter going? He's probably not going to go the full 9 innings, but what goes into the decision process, when to remove him and when to leave him out there in a situation like that like it happened on Tuesday?
Well, he's not going 9, so he's not pitching a complete game no-hitter. So, whether he goes 1 more or 2 more, it becomes irrelevant. I think when you get the pitch count up in the mid-80s, close to 90, and he's had great success, I think that's enough at this point in the season. And I know Jeff is going to guard these kids better than anybody. And I was kind of on the leaning or thinking about sending them out for 1 more. And Jeff, when he explains it the way he does, it makes sense. There's no reason to send them back out. And Luke understands it too. We talked to him about it. So. I think if these guys can go 5, 6, 7 innings, keep their pitch counts, around 90, 185, somewhere in that area at this point in the season, and stay healthy, we'll be good.
And Luke's drawn some good pitching matchups on the other side. It was Whistler on Tuesday night, and today one of your personal favorites. I know Murphy Smith. You've liked him for the last couple of years.
Yeah, this should be a good pitching matchup. Murphy against us has thrown some really good games, and we've got him a couple times. And I think you look at his record, I think he's close to 500 this year, pitching-wise. I'm not sure if I got that right, which kind of surprises me. But he's a guy that can either get hot and give you a lot of trouble, or he's a guy that you can get for 3 or 4 runs in 1 inning and hopefully have a chance to beat him.
He's 8-8, so you're right on target there. He is 7th in the league in ERA. Well, Boo, thanks so much for the time as always, and best of luck here tonight.
All right, thanks, Alex.
That's RoughRiders manager Steve Buechele. We'll come right back after this on the Frisco RoughRiders Baseball Network.